Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. You're down. Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. During that time, I accumulated some good stories and some insight. I'm going to share a little bit with y'all today. For those of y'all who also may not know, the way we get paid on YouTube is we get paid by the commercials that are viewed once they insert them into our content videos, things of that nature. I know at times, man, the videos can be the commercials can be a little boring or whatever. But if you can, mute it, go get you some popcorn, let it play, use the bathroom, make you some food, whatever. YouTube is not quite accurate on how much of the commercial got to be viewed. I don't know if it's between 30 seconds, a minute, or whatever. But if you're able, be sure to watch a little bit of that commercial and help us get our bread, man. Now I'm going to hop right into this little commentary I got today. About a month or so ago, somebody had left a comment in my section asking me that, basically they said that if knowing what I know now, if I could go back, would I still go do that 24 years, or would I inform on somebody and get less time? And the honest answer is I would still go and do the time. Reason being is I bought into that belief system. I wholeheartedly believed in what I was doing, and I knew the potential consequences and the potential repercussions of my activity being involved in the street. And one of those belief systems is that the worst thing in that type of lifestyle was to be an informant, to be a snitch. And now that I look back on that type of stuff, I understand today that actually that belief system that I bought into was actually instilled into me long before I even began running the streets and gangbanging, selling drugs and stuff like that. I can remember being 5, 6 years old. I had older uncles, older cousins who would instill in us that being a snitch was something that was extremely frowned upon. And of course, so no one wants to be ostracized. No one wants to be accepted. And so for those who truly believed in gangbanging and everything that was connected to them, they bought into that. They bought into that belief system, because as I realize now, anybody who joined the gang, myself included, was a follower, and so in order to be accepted, we had to do the things that was expected of us and required of us. Of course, now everybody didn't buy into that system. Some people just hung around, and when things got rough, they done what they felt was necessary for them. But you have some people who have never participated in this type of lifestyle, and they believe, oh man, everybody snitches, and they don't understand how a person can face that type of adversity and not be willing to cave in. But it's just like any other type of belief system that an individual buys into. You have some people who join the KKK or whatever, and so when you're indoctrinated with this type of belief system, it becomes easier for you to do. It becomes second nature. Also, you have the dudes who believe it's okay to bomb an abortion clinic. It's no different. Once you believe in something, it makes it easier for you to do. And so, also, just the way I viewed myself, I did not, like I said, I didn't want to be seen as the type of individual who created a atmosphere for himself and couldn't handle it. And a lot of times, of course, it is foolish pride that makes us do the type of things we do, but still in all, that's who I was. The question that the individual posed to me, he didn't pose the question of, chill, if you could go back and change anything with what you do, because if he had posed that question, then I would have never joined the gang anyway and put myself into a position or a predicament to where I was facing life anyway. Now, keep in mind, this is at a time when I'm 19, 20 years old. And so it's a difference when an individual is on the street and you gang banging and people are telling you, hey man, if you get caught up, you can get life, you can get 40 years, that's different than being actually, now I'm arrested for these charges, and I'm seeing individuals around me get sentenced to life without parole, 75 to life, death penalty. I had told previously on an older story of an individual who I grew up with all my life. He happened to be about 2 years younger than me, somewhere around there, and which made him about 19, 20 years old. And so I seen this dude go to court and come back, with life without parole, tears in his eyes, on the phone talking to his loved ones. And so I even remember at a point in time, I had a lawyer, for those who are not necessarily familiar with my situation. In 1993, I was at a party and got charged with a shooting that led to 3 individuals being shot. After that, I went on the run and I eluded the police for about a year. So before I was captured, I ended up being charged with another murder. So when I was captured, I was initially just charged with the 3 attempted murders. Maybe about 5 or 6 months later, they then charged me with the separate murder. So now I have a murder in 1993 that I'm fighting, and also a murder in 1994. So at some point in time, because I had already hired a private lawyer for the first case that I was being charged with. Once they arraigned me on the murder, then they appointed me a public defender by the name of Lawrence Fate. At some point in time, he came to me. He said, "Hey man, listen, I can get you a deal. I believe it's in the low 20s, maybe even 16 years for both cases. But what they want to know who was with you on that second shooting, because they had evidence in the second shooting that 2 separate weapons was fired, a Mini 14 and a 12 gauge. And these weren't my exact words verbatim, but I basically told the lawyer this. I said, "Hey man, look, I'm not entertaining any type of deal if it has to do with me informing on somebody. That's out, man." He said, "Well, okay, look, as my lawyer, it's my job to bring to you any type of deal that's offered by the prosecution. I have to let you know what they're putting on the table." And I said, "Okay, but man, listen, I'm not even entertaining nothing like that, so it's no need even speaking on nothing like that." And then he turned right around. He said, "You know what? I really respect you for that." He said, "Man, I've represented many type of individuals, gangbangers. They get caught up in that lifestyle. The second they get arrested, they're willing to rat on their friends and this and that." And so for me, like I say, it just happened to be because I had bought into that lifestyle, and that's something that I did not want to be viewed. I did not want to be viewed as a snitch, And to be honest, that entire time while I was in the county, informing on somebody else never crossed my mind. I also remember later, the same lawyer, Lawrence Fate, he came to me. He said, "Hey man, well listen, I'm just also letting you know they're telling me that if they can find any other case that you're clearly connected to, they're gonna ask for the death penalty on you." And so like I say, sometimes I know it's foolish pride that makes us do the things that we do. And so I can definitely say I had that as well. Keep in mind, I'm 5'9" at the time, 5'9", about 143 pounds, from a small gang, small dude. I wore glasses, these, glasses that didn't necessarily make me look like a gang member. So I definitely had moments of fear. I'm small, I'm in there fighting. I told a story how when I got in there, I went to fight. Another dude came in there, they jumped me, pulled out some type of razor or whatever, or cut me all on the back. This type of stuff happens, but it comes with the territory. And so I knew all that beforehand. And so, to be seen as an individual who created an atmosphere for itself and then suddenly couldn't take it and had to tell on people is something that I didn't want to be seen as that type of person. I never forget, when they charged me with that, when they charged me with the murder, I was shook to my core, but at the same time, I wasn't gonna participate in any type of informing. I'm not proud of going to prison. I'm not proud of why I was in prison, and I'm definitely not proud of how long I was in prison. When I was in prison, I lost a lot of relationships. I was not there to see certain individuals in my family. Just a whole lot of stuff. But so I'm not proud of none of that stuff. But one thing I am proud of is that I stood firm in my foundation and my belief system at the time. I wasn't willing to suddenly, since I had created a situation for myself where the rest of my life could be taken away from me, telling other people in order to lessen the load on myself. Because like I say, before we join a gang, before we hop off the porch and get caught up in that type of lifestyle, we know the potential repercussions and the potential consequences that we face. Regardless of how many times we didn't seen our homies go to jail, how many homies we didn't had killed, I don't know. It's crazy because we always assume it's not gonna happen to us, and when it does, you have people, some people stay down, some people don't. One thing I do know too, as going to prison as a snitch is just, in my mind, especially back then, that was just the worst thing. That was just the worst thing that could happen. And so I can say maybe it's possibly my foolish pride. Who knows? But that was something that I wasn't gonna. That was something that I wasn't even gonna entertain. I didn't see individuals on the prison yard. When whoever you ride with, whether it's your race, whether it's your car, meaning the individuals you have chose to lump yourself with, your gang, when they decide it's time for you to go, it don't matter how big you are, how bad you are. If you didn't done something that they extremely frown upon and they want you off the yard, it don't matter how big and bad you are. You can't defend yourself against the whole yard, your whole race, your whole car. If you got 20, 15 people in your car and they want you gone, you out of there. And so I'm saying this to say that I've seen that happen to different individuals too. I've seen some individuals choose to, once he heard that he was no longer in the good graces of his collective, he chose to go tell the police his life was in jeopardy. I've seen other individuals say, hey man, fuck all that. I'm going to get a knife, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to face the music. I've seen that happen several times, And so like I say, it just all depends on that individual. Sometimes foolish pride can put us in positions and situations we really don't want to be in. But I think, like I say, back to initially when I started this dialogue, for those of us who have bought wholeheartedly into the gangbanging mentality, it's just certain ways we didn't want to see ourselves viewed. And we would rather deal with anything else than being, we'd rather be physically hurt at times than be ostracized and have other people not respect, our gangsterism or the way we chose to deal with a situation that we created for ourselves. So, at this stage in the game, what I do now is I don't put myself in positions that I don't want to be in. Like I say, I've seen some individuals come to jail, let's just say, for instance, on March 19th. On March the 22nd, they have a religious awakening. Now it's cool for them, in their opinion, to inform and tell on people, to lighten the load on themselves, and I don't respect that, Now, if an individual gets locked up, he comes to prison, he has a lengthy sentence, or whatever, at a certain point, of course, doing all that time, seeing certain things is definitely, or at least possibly could create, create maturation, causing this individual to mature and not view life as he used to view it, and now make him decide that, what, this type of lifestyle is not for me. I'm realizing what I'm doing. I'm realizing how I'm hurting myself. I'm realizing how I'm inconveniencing myself. And most importantly, I'm realizing how I am hurting my loved ones and the people who are supporting me and standing in my corner. So I'm going to step away from this type of lifestyle. I respect that, because like I say, I believe all of us who joined gangs, we were followers. Because in order to join the gang, we have to participate in certain things. We have to do certain things that's expected or required, from us in order to be accepted, in order to be liked, in order to be, given our kudos and propel in this gang subculture that we're living in. And so we're all followers, because I didn't start gang banging. So for me to join a gang, I'm following the path that somebody else created. So I understand all that. But so for a person to mature and want to leave that that situation through time, through through reading and educating itself. I understand that. I applaud that. But for an individual to get caught up in a situation and then turn right around and inform on people to lighten the load on itself, to me, that I don't respect that, And like I say, I'm proud of the way I was able to stand firm in my foundation at the time, And so, like I say, I'm not proud of why I went to prison. I'm not proud of how long I was in prison, but I'm proud that I didn't get caught up in a situation now and just, start telling on individuals, sending people to jail just because I didn't want to go myself, So with that being said, man, as I look back on everything, if I had to do it all over again, under those exact circumstances, yes, I still would go and do the time, as opposed to telling on other people, So with that being said, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to Life. Resume normal program.